Welcome to the Northwest Bruin Football Show. I'm the head coach, Josh Robinson, and we're here to discuss our home playoff win over Fayette County High School this past Friday at Bruins Stadium. The game paralleled probably our season. Started out with us taking a lead, but falling behind. By the middle of the third quarter, we were down 19-7. Things looked really bleak. We scored very quickly and then proceeded to outscore them 22-0 after that to take a 29-19 lead. By the early parts of the fourth quarter, they completed a pass. We were right there to defend it, weren't able to knock it down, and then we mishandled our second kickoff of the night, and they were able to get the ball deep in our territory and score with about 3 minutes left, but our guys did an outstanding job of finding a way to score. I believe Adrian Reyes crossed the goal line with the winning touchdown with around 13 seconds left in the game. So overall, a very good night. Once you get the playoffs, things don't have to be perfect. We made two big special teams mistakes that really made the game closer than it should be by giving them two extra possessions in which they scored, and the mistake they made, one of the fumbles they made early in the game, we didn't capitalize on. So overall, you know, in the end we won, and that's all that matters. I'll talk about this again probably a little bit later, but it's our 7th straight year making the playoffs. It's the first time Northwest has ever advanced to the second round in back-to-back years, so obviously it would make it the first time we've ever won home playoff games back-to-back years. So a lot of firsts for our school and our football program stringing back, and we're really proud of the success we've had. We've had some really good players, have really good players now, and I feel like we've had some really good football coaches. I'm so incredibly proud of our football team, especially our seniors, for leading us back from a 1-2 start to where we are now with the opportunity to play in the second round against a very good Bainbridge High School team. And I'm proud of the rest of our team. We obviously have multiple grades and individuals that are involved from freshmen all the way up, and I'm proud of our coaches. You know, it was really easy when things were looking not so promising with the 1-2 start, 2 close losses. Everybody was disappointed, and people started questioning, you know, players that were out there, maybe coaches' decisions, and that comes with the territory. But our coaches kept their nose to the grindstone and led our players to a big turnaround and a big year. But that year's not over, thankfully, and we get a chance to play this coming Friday. Let's talk a little bit more about Fayette County High School and our offense. I believe Owen Brooker combined for just under 330 yards of offense, around 323, I believe it was. Great night for him. He had 229 yards passing on 19 of 31 and a touchdown. You know, we knew coming in we were going to get some man coverage consistently, and it's really the first time we've had a heavy dose of that on a Friday night all year, and it's difficult for an offense to adjust, but Owen did a great job and also did a great job with his feet. He pulled down a couple that we didn't have anything there and was able to scramble, ultimately ending up with 15 carries for 94 yards and 2 touchdowns. So as usual, for us to be successful, Owen had a do-it-all night, and he would tell you he couldn't do that without his offensive line and the guys around him. We have a lot of weapons on our offense, and our offensive lines came together and playing their best football of the year for sure. So as we move forward, you know, we expect big things out of that offensive line and Owen to continue to perform. Adrian Reyes, again, we were able to turn him loose more, 12 carries for 46 yards and 2 touchdowns, including the game winner. We've really limited him, and he's been frustrated a little bit with it, and I understand he wants to play. He's a competitor, but we were saving him for those games that we needed him, and then we were able to get a big lead at Ridgeland and Pickens and didn't have to use him as much. And then in the playoffs, you know, every single game is going to be a dogfight, so ultimately we knew we could utilize him there. He played a lot of plays for us, even if he wasn't carrying the ball, and did an outstanding job. Our freshman, Cameron Collins, had 2 carries for 3 yards on the night. We'll talk about his catch a little bit later, but Cameron's a good player for us. He has a senior that's in front of him that he did a great job and does a lot of good things for our football team. But he was very accepting of his role Friday and contributed to our football team and showed the unselfishness that many of our players have shown to get us to where we're at. Receiving, Ray Morrison had 5 catches for 74 yards, had a big early catch, and then one fell incomplete. He dove after and unfortunately got a hip pointer and was out for about a third of the game once it was all said and done. But he showed the heart that our team has showed all year, and came back from his injury and picked up 4 more receptions that were big for us. And he gains a lot of attention on the field because he's a fast, long target that's able to catch balls and pull them in, and does a good job. And again, fighting through the injury is a really big deal. It's the last game, could have been the last game of his career. Friday, and he found a way to get back on the field and contribute positively. Braden Morrison had another big night for us as usual, had 7 catches, 72 yards, 2 huge catches on the last drive. I believe he picked up somewhere around 40 yards of that. On the last drive when we were down by 4 and had to go score a touchdown with about 3 minutes left. Fortunately, our coaching philosophy, mine and Coach Fisher's, is we try to save as many timeouts as we can for the end of the half, end of the game. So in those situations where we've got to use them, and it played in our favor because we were able to get the ball in the middle of the field and not just have to work the sidelines, which is so incredibly important. Sometimes that's not always possible, but fortunately Friday it was, and Braden did an outstanding job for us all night, doing a good job blocking, again, battling some injuries, and just going out and playing a great game and ending up with wonderful stats on the night and contributions to the Bruin win. Hudson Gray, our sophomore, I feel like I say this every week, I feel like he continues to improve. Had 2 catches for 63 yards and a touchdown. The touchdown he caught was a long play, really, really good. Fought off someone to catch the ball and finish through the end zone. So just an outstanding night for him. He's going to play a big part for us this coming Friday and every Friday from here on out, and the future of our Bruin football program. He's a very good player and a very hard worker, and we look forward to having him for a long time. Jace Talley, 1 catch for 11 yards. Again, Jace is rotating in and out. And is a very good player for us. He has some guys that are in front of him right now that are seniors, talented guys, and it kind of limits him at times, but he comes on and does a great job blocking, has grown up so much as a football player. We love the kid. We think he's a teammate guy. We think he cares about the team. We think he works hard. And all those things are important, and we pull for him every Friday, and he came through even though he only had 1 catch, it was a big catch for us and comes through positively for our football team every single week. Cameron Collins had 2 catches for 7 yards. I know one of those picked up a first down. The other one they covered for a short gain. But Cameron offers that. He can catch the ball in the backfield, and as he goes through his career at Northwest, he's going to contribute in a big way to us. Braxton Floyd only had 1 catch on the night. But Braxton, again, we'll mention him again on defense. He continues to play an important role on our football team, playing tons of special teams, offense, defense, and contributing to us. He's one of the smaller guys on the field every single week, but he has the heart of a champion and goes out and competes and blocks and catches, and had an outstanding block that was, I believe, called a hold, which was really the penalty on us at the end of the game was on someone else. But he does the things that we need. He's a true teammate player for us. Grant Holder on the night I've said this before, and now he's done it even better. Had his most consistent night kicking for us. We try to kick the ball around that 30-yard line, high in the air, so they can't get a big return. I think they ended up with 1, but it wasn't his fault. He kicked the ball exactly where he needed to. We missed a couple of tackles that allowed them to gain about 20 yards. In the end, we're really proud of Grant. He's a hard worker and does an outstanding job for us. And then he finished all of his extra points on the night, which is a huge deal for us as we go through. We attempted 1 2-point conversion when we went ahead 22-19 to make sure we had a 3-point lead in case it came down to that field goal at the end. So ultimately a good night for the Bruin offense. At this time, let's take a look at the first half highlights. We start out here, we're entering the field, coming on with just a minute left before we start. And we start out, Fayette County won the toss and elected to defer, and we run a little hide route right here. Coach Fisher and Coach Sam's guys put together, and we were able to move the ball, but ultimately we punted away, and on I believe the very first play that they had from scrimmage, they ended up fumbling. We recovered. Unfortunately, we didn't really move the ball very much and weren't able to pick up a first down, throwing the ball deep here, and I believe that's Braxton Floyd on the coverage. I can't see for sure, but my memory serves me correct. Here's a big tackle for Junior Acquire. Unfortunately, the young man there got hurt. I'm sure he was going to be big in their plans. Here they're running the bubble. We're not necessarily lined up the way we need to be against that formation, but ultimately they throw it incomplete and we make them punt, and the young man gets off a good punt that takes a big roll. But we were able to get them off the field and adjust early to what they were doing. Come back on offense here, and we're running a deep route down the middle with Ray, and Ray makes a good catch and makes a few moves here as he goes down the field and is able to pick up a huge gain to get our offense rolling a little more. Braden does a good job of slipping, still catching the ball in a tough situation, but really is wide open. He got hit right afterwards, but we run, I believe, the trap on the goal line, and Adrian Reyes picks it up to put us ahead 7-0. Jack Sprooker with the snap, Braxton Floyd with the hold, and Grant Holder with the extra point as we go up 7-0. They got a good return there, but on third down, fortunately, they fumbled and on our side of the field and decided to punt the ball away. They were handing the jet. We were in good shape, so I feel like we would have had a good chance to stop them there, but we take the ball back over around the 9-yard line, do a good job just getting a first down. We're not going to score every time, but ultimately that's a great catch by Jace Talley to move the ball up to midfield, and then we can get a punt off. Again, we want to score every time, but realistically against football teams, it's not going to happen. We flip field position, and at the end of the second quarter, we're still leading 7-0. You can see our guys fitting in there. They run the jet sweep. We've got, I believe, Ike Ralston and Dominic Smith chasing the young man down. It's really fast, had a lot of big plays this year. Here's a great play by Connor Cummins, getting a stop. I believe they gained 4 yards on the play. Jack Sprooker throwing his body in there. Here they run the jet again. We got Dominic and Ike in on the tackle as well. There's Jack Sprooker breaking through the line. I believe we got Hayden Maynard, Reese Cowart, and Jaden Santiago in on the tackle as well. We're making them spill. We apply some pressure. They ran a little hide route they haven't shown all year, and Connor Cummins does a great job being the smart football player he is. Picks him up as he comes out of the backfield and ultimately makes them punt the ball away. Takes a little bit of a Fayette County roll, and we take over at the 17. Again, we move the ball. I believe we picked up one first down, ended up punting it away. Jaden with the tackle. There you can see a host of Bruins. I believe Hayden Maynard, Ike Ralston, Jack Sprooker all in on the tackle. We're giving up a little bit too much yardage here. Again, they're triple teaming Junior, which is a good thing for us. They run the toss sweep earlier and had a good play on it, but I believe that's Hayden Maynard, Reyes De La Paz, and Jack Sprooker all in on the tackle on the goal line, trying to get in. We kind of make a good stand here and stop them short of picking up the first down. They ended up scoring on the very next play, get the ball back. Great pressure by Connor Cummins, good coverage by our guys, by Jaden. Braxton has to be a little deeper, but we blitz. Ike's got to go through and tackle that tailback, but still not much of a gain there. This was after a turnover on our part. They end up missing an extra point because of a high snap. We're able to move the ball towards the end of the first half, and we really had an opportunity to score, but once we got inside the 40 on the other side, we dropped back-to-back passes, and I elected to punt so that they wouldn't get the ball near midfield, which kind of worked for us because ultimately they ended up kneeling and running out the clock to go in at halftime with Fayette County 13, Northwest 7. At this time, let's take a look at our corporate sponsors. Welcome back to the Bruin Football Show. Let's talk about our defense a little bit. We ended up giving up 33 points on the night, but 2 of them on a really short field by turnovers. No excuses. We got to find a way to stop them, but we did that several times. They're a very talented team. I think their offensive line plays as hard and is coached as well as anybody we've played all year long. They had some size, they had some smaller guys, but they went to where they were supposed to, and I thought that creates a lot of issues for a defense, and I thought our guys fought through that. Had a few late struggles in the first half and early struggles in the second half, and then really after that, the passing game's kind of what set everything up for them, and our DBs did a good job. Even on that, despite a few plays at all levels of football, passing the ball is a big threat, and people are able to gain yards. So, just a good night for our defense. Reyes De La Paz had 3 tackles, a tackle for a loss, a quarterback pressure on the night. Wasn't his best game, but as usual, he's all over the field. May not have ended up with a lot of tackles, but some of his penetration through the offensive line allowed our defense to be a little more successful and our linebackers to make a few plays. Junior Aguirre played another really good game for us at nose, despite not getting a ton of stats. He had a tackle and a tackle for a loss. They were constantly triple teaming him. You could tell they had a different scheme for when we rotated him out versus rotating him in, and he occupied a lot of blockers for us. And again, he's not putting up stats, but he's helping everybody else do it. Hayden Maynard had a great night. Continued each week of I think maybe the last 5 weeks or so, we've said he's played his best game. Well, he did it again. He's played his best game and his most productive game with 6 tackles and 2 quarterback pressures. Missed a few tackles on the night, but part of the reason he missed those tackles is because of his slants and how he was getting to the balls. But even when he missed them, we were able, I believe on 4 of the ones he missed, we were able to tackle him for a loss. He just wasn't the guy that finished the play. Also, Miles Mays, the freshman, came in and played 40 plays and had a tackle, was disruptive in the pass game and created some good situation for us. Colton Harrington, Jr., continues to play some snaps at nose and had a tackle, and Gian Gomez came over from the offensive line and contributed to the defensive line playing time. Big night for our linebackers, which is based off the style of offense they run. Is one of those things that are indicative that you have to do. Connor Cummins had 17 tackles, a tackle for a loss, and a pressure. So monster night by him. He continues to be one of the smartest players we've got on the field and one of the most active. He plays sideline to sideline. And we're very fortunate to have him. We're able to use him in some empty situations. He can press receivers. He can cover receivers, and something that he doesn't get to work out all the time, but he does an outstanding job for us, and we're thankful that he's producing at the level he is. Ike Ralston came on with a very good night. Had 10 tackles, one recovered fumble that was huge when we were up 20. We'd just taken the lead 22-19, and I believe it's the first play of the next drive. They threw a bubble that he went and defended with Dominic Smith and was able to scoop it up off the ground, return it to the 3. I wish he could have found a way to get in the end zone, but ultimately a big play for our football team as well. So a good night by Ike Ralston. Jax Brooker turned in another fabulous night, had 13 tackles and 2 tackles for a loss. All over the field, playing fast, making plays for the Bruins, and we talk about him every week, and when we're successful, it's because he had a good night. I do have to mention he got his hand basically crushed in the fourth quarter when they scored their couple of touchdowns, and he lined up, couldn't move his hand, and was propping it on his leg and going much of the fashion of an old school football player, because there's times now where players kind of don't have that old school toughness that was back in the 80s and the 90s, and it was really nice to see a kid go out there and wouldn't come out of the game, put the team at the forefront of his concerns over himself, and went and gave it his all. So really proud of him. Our senior, Jaden Santiago, and the linebacker crew had 12 tackles for us. Again, probably like Reyes, didn't play his best game, but was in on several tackles, ran through some blockers, made some tackles. So overall, very good night for Jaden. In the secondary, Isaiah Foster, sophomore for us, continues to come on, made 3 tackles. was all over the field, defended a couple of passes. He grows in our scheme mentally each week, and is going to play a huge role against Bainbridge as we travel south this coming Friday. Dominic Smith, again, we've mentioned him every single week, the one returning starter we have with some experience over there on Friday nights playing from his safety position. We asked him and Reese to do a few things for us to try and prevent them from leveraging us on the jet sweep, and Dominic ended up with 5 tackles and Reese Cowart with 4 tackles on the night. They both give us everything they've got every single Friday, and we're definitely thankful for their performance on Friday and the production that they've had. We've mentioned Braxton Floyd, who had a catch on the offensive side, plays almost every play, holder on PAT, returns punts. He had 4 tackles on the night, continues in a big stop on the goal line as they could have scored another touchdown in the middle of the third quarter there. So a good night by Braxton for sure. And then Hudson Gray came over and contributed to our team and ended up with a tackle on the night. Hudson's a really talented guy, and as the years go on, he's going to be playing more and more of both sides. So overall, we faced a unique style offense that was very challenging to deal with, but ultimately our guys found a way to pick up a win and execute our defensive game plan with good efficiency on Friday. At this time, let's take a look at the second half highlights. Coming back in the second half, we gave them a different look. Coach Fisher did a good job coming up with a formation, gave them a little bit of trouble getting in quads and running different things. Jace Talley running backwards, ran a little too far back there, but we're able to throw the ball deep early in the second half, and Hudson Gray breaks loose and ends up with a big play and a tackle that they end up getting a personal foul on as they pushed us afterwards. But good play for us, and it draws the score closer, 19-14. We come back on first down at their 23s. We were able to kick it in the end zone. They end up gaining just a few yards there, and we get them for a loss, and Reese Cowart comes down. He's got to come out with a little bit more leverage, but ultimately makes a good tackle to keep it at 3rd and 8. They're sprinting out here. We've got a couple of guys slipping on our field, and Miles Mays and I believe Hayden Maynard and Jax Brooker all pressuring him. He had to throw the ball up, and ultimately led to a punt. Now, at this point, we were down. They had scored on the first possession to start the second half. We were down 19-7, and our offense scored. We got a good stop on defense. Ray's got to tuck that ball away, gets down and up near midfield. Good job by our defense getting the offensive ball back. Adrian's patient there and is able to pick up a big run, and then he's just running through guys in typical Adrian Reyes fashion. We get back in our Bruins set, and we run quarterback power, and Owen finds a gap there and is able to cut it back to give us the lead, 20-19. We do the right thing and ultimately come free for a 22-19 score with 4:13 left. We end up kicking the ball off here, and again there you can see Grant Holder's good placement. That was probably his worst kick, and it wasn't a bad one. We were able to pin them there around the 42. We just want that to be a hair more towards the numbers. They run a bubble screen here. You see Braxton Floyd coming up with a big hit on the night. Their shoes get tangled up and they have to get loose. But on 2nd and 11 here, they come back and they try to run the toss sweep again. They had success with it. Connor's giving up a little leverage, but Dominic's there. He's got to continue to pursue downfield and stop them at the line of scrimmage. But we're able to get them out of bounds here. Good tackle, I believe, by Braxton Floyd, leaving them short. They get down towards the goal line. They end up picking up a first down. Here you can see Jax Brooker getting a stop. They had a big play on 4th down that got them down close. We missed a couple of tackles on. Still on the goal line, you can see our guys flying the ball and fighting it. It turns into 3rd down for them. They're running the power off tackle. We swing inside. Hayden Maynard does a good job with Connor Cummins and Jax Brooker picking up the tackle. And then on 4th down, and Ike Ralston's really physical, doesn't give up ground, and we stop them on the goal line, which is a big momentum shift for us. It's 22-19 to start the 4th quarter. We come back, we end up getting a couple of first downs, have to punt, which is okay, and they end up with the ball up around the 40-yard line. They gain 5 yards on the first play. They're running the toss sweep again that they had success. Jaden misses a tackle, but our other guys are there on the play to get a stop. They're throwing the bubble, this huge play in the game. The ball's laying on the ground. I'm trying to get them to pick it up, and ultimately Ike Ralston picks it up and gets down. I wish he could have found his way in the end zone, but ultimately gets down the 2 or 3 yard line with an opportunity to give the Bruins a 10-point lead, and that's exactly what happens. We run a follow play, and Owen pulls it and gets in the end zone to put us up 28, and then here is the 29th point to give us a 10-point lead with, there it is, about 10 minutes left. We give up a big pass play. Unfortunately, they're running a boot, and we had a blitzing linebacker, so he wasn't able to cover it in the flats, but I believe that's Reese Cowart that came down and made a big tackle. There's Jax Brooker making a tackle. They're moving the ball on us, but we want to use as much clock as we can. Of course, we don't want them to score, but if they do, we want it to take a while. They end up scoring with 5:45. We fumble the ensuing kickoff, and we're pinned down really deep inside our 25. They score a few plays later to go up 33-29, and then we have a big drive. The way they were playing it, they couldn't see the out route, so we turned it upfield, and Braden's able to catch the ball in the hole there at a big play, and he comes back with another big catch. Again, he picked up, had to be around 40 yards just in 2 catches. Before you know it, we're down in there. We're trying to throw it to Braden again. Ultimately, they covered it, and Owen makes an outstanding play, not only escaping pressure, but ends up picking the first down and going out of bounds. We get down on the goal line, and here you can see with 13 seconds left, why I think high school football is the greatest game on earth. You see everybody celebrate, and it's a whole community coming together. But the game's not over yet. It's 36-33. Our defense, we're in a pressure situation, and they try to throw a hitch route to get a few more yards up to midfield, but we're moving, we're pressing. Connor Cummins is deep right here. He's going to have pretty good coverage on the guy, and ultimately the game ends in great fashion with Northwest 36, Fayette County 33. At this time, let's take a look at our corporate sponsors. Welcome back to the Northwest Bruin Football Show. It's really exciting times around here. We're in a unique situation. For the first time in a few years, the GHSA's made the decision that North Georgia is going to cross over to South Georgia and go play a football game. And outside of Ringgold's the only team that is further north still in the playoffs than us, right down the street here. Hopefully we can pick them up for a game next year. We're going to travel to one of the southernmost schools in Bainbridge High School. It's around 330 miles. Long trip for our guys, but we're going to get them out, get them a good experience. We're going to travel to Florida State University on Thursday and participate in some activities there for our football team as we prep with our walkthrough for the Friday game and have a good time. But at the same time we're going down there, we're going to face a very good football team. They're very talented. They have a SEC commit. I believe he was committed to Florida State and flipped to the SEC and Texas A&M. They won the state championship 4 years ago. Coach Littleton's done an outstanding job. He's the winningest head coach in their school's history, and he's really built a program there that is a valid contender for the state championship each year. But they've lost a few games at the beginning of the year, and we've got to try to replicate those things that those teams did to have success against them. And then at the same time, we've got to play our game. We've got to we feel that we have a very good offense, that when we go execute, we've got the ability to score on anyone, and then defensively, we've shown the ability at times to put a stop to other teams' offense. It's going to be a big challenge. They're really fast. they're not incredibly big except for a few places here and there, but they're all large for their position. They have big linebackers and big DBs and big skill guys on offense. So it's going to be a challenge. Very exciting. If we win, it'll be the first time Northwest has ever been to the third round. We've made history before this year, so we definitely want to have the opportunity to do that again. We know it's a long road trip. We hope the whole Northwest community shows up. I know our boys would love nothing more to have a long road game and have the stands packed full for them and support of them. So we're just looking forward to the game Friday and being there, but we're not just going to be happy to be there. We're going to go compete. Our guys are going to play hard, and we'll be one of the hardest playing games, the teams that Bainbridge has faced in a game all year. So we look forward to it. It's going to be a challenge, and we hope to see you all out there. Until next week, this is Josh Robinson with Northwest Football.